Why are you acting crazy? Hey, ukulele. Hey, sister, how are you? How have you been, beautiful? How's the family? How's your husband? Hopefully you can hear me okay over this music. I just kind of have it playing till company shows up. I'm good, sister. Hopefully you're keeping me in prayer. Just got back from Texas a few weeks ago, shooting stuff for Honor Studios, and trying to get stuff ready for convention season, and in the comic space and all that stuff, and spent a bunch of money I ain't got. Spent a bunch of money I ain't got. I'm sitting here coloring a print, getting ready. I'm scrambling because convention season is upon me, and I really hate going with nothing new. Now, granted, my displays are new, and I got all this new attention grabbing stuff. Hopefully it works. But had no new artwork, and so I'm scrounging up a bunch of old pieces and refreshing them because they're new to the world, and that's why I'm streaming here today. I'm like, I'm doing this anyway, might as well go live. I haven't been live in so long. But been in my hole, prepping and building. But how have you been? How's things on Twitch? How's the ministries going? How's dad? How's the husband? It's a little bit too bright. To a nerd ministry convention, but when we looked at it, math, audio. Oh. I can see how that would look different. Yeah, kind of misleading. A little misleading at first glance, I'm sure. A nerd convention. It's amazing how nerd is used synonymously so many different adventures now that you really don't know what they're talking about until you like really dive in. Yeah, nerd is kind of used all over the place now. I just saw. Have you heard of the Rise convention? Have you heard of Rise? Warren sent it to me, and he sent it to me so late. I was a little bit perturbed because I would have definitely gone had I known about it. It's a Christian comic. It's a Christian comic and pop culture convention in Tennessee. It's called Rise, I think, and very affordable. And I'm like, I need to be doing that, and so I'm going to be looking into that moving forward. I've been looking at a bunch of like music fests for Honor Studios. What is this spot here? Where'd that spot come from? I don't know where that spot came from. We're gonna get rid of that. E. Command E. That looked weird. I gotta go back. I don't know where that spot came from. I had to do a file revert, but I don't know where that spot came from. Especially on my highlights layer. Yeah, Warren sent it to me about a week or so ago, and I'm like, dude, I would love to have done this. I would love to have done this before now, so I could have prepped for it. I don't know how to make that work, but we're gonna do something with that. That could work, but it's very hot. That's too hot. I can't do nothing with that. That's too hot. I don't know where that came from. Knock it back a little bit. I don't want it to adversely affect the image too much. There we go. Yeah. Right about there. Yeah, Kevin Sorbo and it's faith centric apparently. Again, I wish I had heard of it because I definitely would have went. And the tables were like really really affordable, which is a big thing with me. Is can Honor Studios afford to go there? The Honor Studios reserves are a little tapped out because of going to Texas and getting that stuff started. And a couple of people have left the Patreon on Honor Studios side. This is Ka-Pow, granted, but if you all are watching this on Ka-Pow, Honor Studios is my faith inspired, my own personal projects where every story has some type of relevancy to my belief system without being preachy. We never sacrifice. We learned our lesson from a lot of what's going on in major media. Well, this was always our approach. I won't even say we learned our lesson. We're a little bit ahead of our time, but we don't sacrifice story for message. If you can't tell the story, then good luck getting the message through. Adding the gold trim, trying to make it look somewhat reflective, and keeping in mind the where the light sources are, even though it's multiples. Like I said, ukulele. My sister, she's on Twitch, checking us out on Twitch. She's been a huge supporter of my studio, and I'm so grateful. Hey, Wasabi, how are you? All the Twitch people showing up on Ka-Pow, huh? This is a pleasant surprise. How have you been? How goes everything? How are your projects coming? Twitter fam showing up strong. I'm streaming on Twitch. I'm not Twitter. I don't mess with Twitter. I'm streaming on Twitch and YouTube right now. Multi-streaming since my beautiful ukulele sister informed me that now I can do it without fear of that's too hot. Where's my pressure sensitivity? B. Yeah. Too hot. There we go. The lights can't be that intense that far away from the light source. A little too hot. Too hot. Knock it back, knock it back, knock it back. There we go. Knock it back. Got to be mindful of temperature. I've also kind of like just been drawing. I've been doing a lot of drawing. So just because I've been drawing, you all, I just have been not been doing it public. I've been recording a bunch of videos. Because I noticed, I noticed that when I'm like doing this kind of stuff, it's autopilot, and so it doesn't require me to do a whole lot of mental juggling. Because I noticed when I was streaming on Honor Studio stuff that like my stuff was not looking kosher, wasn't looking that great because my attention was divided. So I'm like, I had to start divvying up my my efforts into what, acknowledging my limitations as far as attention. I'm like, okay, a lot of this stuff is not turning out quite how I hoped it would. I would go back and I see a lot of errors in my art, and a lot of errors. And I'm like, yeah, we gotta maintain our focus. So I'm going to live stream when I'm either sketching and doodling, or I'm at a certain stage of completion. I'm recording this in the background like always. Said, you've been getting things done on the art side. Good. Blessed for finishing your work that's been a long time coming. But I digress. Oh, man. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, I'm about to start streaming again. I just had to get a methodology and get some things in the kitty. I thank you for promoting me, man. That blesses me more than I can say. Boy, you promote me better than I promote myself. So yeah, so this is a print that I'm working on. The Ka-Pow, we are now officially partnered with a couple of mid-major conventions. And we're going to have a big display, monitors, neon sign. We're going to be holding demos. That's part of our partnership agreement with the shows. And they're going to give us like 20 to 30 feet of space. And so Ka-Pow is moving forward. It's trekking forward. So grateful for that. Honor Studios, again, I just finished recording. I got to start. I know Ukulele's been following on YouTube. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And the YouTube is starting to show signs of life, albeit small. But, again, we don't despise days of humble beginnings. We don't do any of that. And so, yeah, man, I'm just trying to get the thing done. Trying to get the thing done with as much oomph as I can muster. With as much oomph as I can muster, Go down to the works, and now I'm using the burn tool. Cancel. This is with the burn tool. It kind of allows me to burn things in. It gives you a lot of artists frown from it. I think they don't know how to really use it in an effective way. But it gives you, depending on what you're targeting, it gives you a nice little, it kind of just burns the pixels, makes them a little hotter. Thank you. Sister, your support has been greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. So to kind of give you a preview of where I'm going, I'm kind of rounding home base. I got to add some cuts to the cloth. You see I have the secondary light source here with the yellow brim. And there's like people are like, well, where's that light source coming from? It's going to be a backglow like that. And I wanted him kind of bursting through a tomb. Like, here's the funny thing. This piece, I did this in the squad car when I was in law enforcement. I did this in the squad car when I was in law enforcement in 2012. I penciled it. I didn't ink it until, 9 years later. I have so much unfinished work. It's ridiculous. So I'm like, I had to dig through the unfinished work because I'm trying to get this to the printers and back as quickly as possible. And so I'm just taking some of my unfinished work, adding some effects, updating it a little bit. I did some corrections even on him, some subtle corrections. Color it, boom. Because I hate going to shows. Like, this would be my 3rd year doing conventions in an almost 20-year layoff. My 3rd year doing conventions. And I have not had any new prints since year 1. And so now that I'm starting to circle conventions again and circle back around and people are looking for me, I'm like, I cannot go back with the same stuff in my portfolio. Oh, thank you. Yeah, this is when I think, man, before the Rock, when this was at New 52, if you can tell by the design. I love the New 52 design of a lot of the characters, including Superman. And I don't even think the Rock had announced that he was doing Black Adam yet. I don't think that was a thing yet. I don't think so. Now I have to add, so there's beveling that I have to keep in mind. And so now I'm about to add some beveling, and it kind of adds dimension to the cape, right? And so I take this and I kind of go around the edges a little bit, and then I kind of bleed off into the darkness. I like to hide it because that lets me know that the marching ants can be a little bit distracting. And so I'm gonna go to this little brighter yellow hue. I'm just gonna kind of touch, boom, and see it adds a nice little edge there. It's a little hot on this end. I want it to fade off a little bit. I want it to taper off a little bit as it recedes into the darkness. It's actually a simple piece to color. Let me turn off this backlight. Which is one reason why I chose to finish it. Yeah, it was a cameo to him and Cavill, but man, it's I think that's dead in the water now, man. Since the whole revamping and James Gunn, I think he scrapped all of that for his vision, you know. I want that a little bit closer to the light source. See how it kind of tapers off a little bit. And you see there's little highlights where the fold bends to kind of make it look like cloth. I have to kind of make sure it gets a little bit of light, but not as much. It's a bit wide. And I'm not a professional colorist by any stretch of the imagination. I've just learned a few things here and there. Got to keep it humble, brother. Just pray my success. I have really I see some dominoes starting to fall in place, and so what I've done, Wasabi and Ukulele, is I've divided my productivity into weeks, into designated weeks. And so actually this week is Generation Geek. But Generation Geek is a channel that I split with my son, and is growing really fast here on YouTube. It's called Generation Geek. It's where we give our commentary and our fandom. So if you think of Honor Studios as my production arm, if you think of Ka-Pow as the educational arm, Generation Geek is the fan arm, right? It's the fan face for us. And so I do it with my second oldest son, Jordan, where we do just general comic book stuff and commentary. And so this week is actually supposed to be Generation Geek Week. But Generation Geek, because the chores are divided between my son and I, it affords me to kind of cheat. And so I'm catching up on Ka-Pow because that's very urgent. And I think next week is Honor Studios Week, where I'm going to be scheduling a bunch of videos, doing live streams, and I've had to do it to maintain my sanity. with the things that I'm trying to get out into the world. Yeah. It's called Generation Geek. It's me and my son Jordan and I, and it's been growing. It's just fan stuff, comic book breakdowns. I'm going to be reviewing some comics on there. My son does versus battles. We talk about events happening in the geek space. With you know, I just did some videos on a couple of passings in the geek sphere that have kind of rocked the industry. Yeah, that's Generation Geek. And it's something for my, the purpose it really serves is just sharing our passion for geek culture, anime, cartoons, video games, comics, as father and son. And it kind of it's kind of like our thing that we've always shared. And we said, well, let's share it with the world. Let's see how that looks. And it was actually Warren, my partner here at Honor Studios, that gave me the idea for that. Do I have all three arms under a single nonprofit or business? All right, so no, I do not. How do I keep them? They're all on separate accounts financially. They're all on second. I'm going to consolidate as soon as I get my wits about me. They're all on separate accounts. I treat them as individual aspects of me. Generation Geek is fully meant to be eventually completely commandeered by my son, but people kind of like the father-son dynamic, so I don't know how long I might be on board, longer than expected. Honor Studios, I'm still playing with the corporate structure with Honor Studios, to be quite honest. I don't know the best route to go, with NZ being so faith forward, but also being accessible to the general public and targeting the general public in a very real way. Want to show these big boys Disney and them how it's done, how you can deliver, great stories and actually say something as opposed to just preaching at people. They're preaching at people in the worst way. And, so keeping them tangled up, I ain't quite got that all figured out, but we move forward and hopefully it all lands right. You want the geeky commentary? I'll help. Oh yeah, man, absolutely. You'll get a lot of stuff from Generation Geek, man. If you're on YouTube, you get a lot across the spectrum, man. We talk about X-Men '97, Invincible. If it touches the geek sphere and it's something we're talking about, we just hang out and we talk about it. I did an interview with Kevin Grievous, which is our most watched video right now. We did an interview with him, and if you don't know who he is, he's the guy who created Underworld, as well as Marvel's hit character, the Blue Marvel. And he and I have become really, really good friends. I'm going to have him here on Ka-Pow as well. But incredible. I'm actually going to be critiquing his book, his comic book, Dark Storm. I told him I was going to do a review of it. And so, and to boot, guess what? He's actually part of the household, heavily part of the household. He's part of the family. You know what I mean? And so, yes. And that's kind of where we kind of really bonded. Yeah. I mean, deep. We talk about that more than anything. So yeah. Absolutely. I'm not going to spend too much time down here because that's actually going to be, most of that's going to be covered by mist. Yeah. Especially at this stage of life, man, when, my wife and I were talking about it. Like you reach a certain stage of life where you kind of stop looking for friends and connections, and you just kind of are into your own space. And when I tell you it was just so organic and natural, man, It was effortless. It was effortless. And see, because I have that light source come from his hand, I have to make sure that some light hits the top of those folds. It was effortless. Oh, wrong way. There we go. Yeah, as you get older, you kind of stop expecting people to enter your life and have any real contribution or impact. And I know that sounds very nihilistic, um, but I'm up in years, and so my circle's very small and has always been intentionally so. And as you get older, it kind of gets smaller with people leaving us and you know what have you. Um, and so to get somebody that just kind of gets it and wants nothing in return, and he knows that he knows I don't want anything from him. We're actually gonna be collaborating on some things. He was as excited as I was, as far as just making the connection. He was as excited as I, and he gives as good as he gets. As you would think that because he's Hollywood or something like that, no man, he'll hit me up and I'll hit him up, and it's just I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful that the Lord thought enough. Oh, there we go with the. Well, you all know if you all watch my Generation Geek and here on Ka-Pow, I don't hide my faith from anybody. It's who I am. Who I desire to be, and all of that good stuff. And so, just being able to share with somebody like that is just a huge, huge blessing. But I'm going to be also doing some really heavy topics on Honor Studios. Some things have really been heavy on me, man. As far as some things that need to be addressed happening in the sphere of faith. Yeah, it's hitting down in here. The only thing is you're ahead of me a little bit. There's an effect that I already have the layer here, but it comes down to what makes sense at what point, right? What's going to be seen, and that's also part of my problem solving, is that some of the things down here are going to be partially hidden. Though they're hit by light, they're going to be partially hidden. There's going to be a smoke layer to add some atmosphere. And I'm actually almost done with this. I hate to call this brainless work because it's not brainless. It's a lot of decision making. But this is stuff that if I mess up, I'm less likely to take a big hit from it. Yeah, I'm less likely to take a big hit from it. And so now I also have a layer above the inks. So I have this little layer right here. I'm gonna call it high 2. Okay. And this is parts of the cloak that I want to be, because I have, it's so much hard black here, which I don't mind. I've gotten very comfortable with using black. But I want to add just a little bit of texture, in a couple places. Like that, Those little subtle touches right there to kind of let you know there's still some stuff happening. And even that black is not so matted and dark that it won't catch light. See how that pops a little bit? I want to get some over here by this light source. Spin my brush so I can control. Here we go. There we go. Knock this back just a little bit. It's a little bit hot there. There we go. Yeah, had the contour of the muscle. That's where a really healthy knowledge of anatomy comes in. You know what I mean? And we focus a lot on anatomy at Ka-Pow. We focus a lot on anatomy at Ka-Pow. The first year, I used the blue down there. You say it probably doesn't matter. No, I want to use the yellow because my secondary light is yellow. It's that light that's going to be coming from behind him. Put a little bit down here. Kind of trace that. HB. Knock that back a little bit. It's kind of like a dance, right? Kind of take a little, it's almost like having, dancing a little bit. And see, the light coming from the hand is blue, so that's where you get all these hot blues and all up in. I brought it into his face, but then the second ambient light the secondary light is yellow. It's warm, so. Wrong color. X. Boom. There we go. Cool. I don't want to over sculpt it, but I think that's good enough. I'm gonna add some more hot spots to the gold trim. A few more hot spots here. Kind of heat it up a little bit because it is gold, so it needs to reflect a little bit more. There we go. Let me add some beveling down here at the bottom. See, that kind of dips into shadow, so I need to take care of that, even though it's not going to be seen. Now, this is where my neuroticism kicks in. I don't know if I told you guys, it's been a while, but it's official. Your boy is legitimately on the spectrum. No joke. It's kind of been a revelation to my family. Some people are like, "Oh, I always knew something was going on with you," and it's been quantified that I'm legitimately on the spectrum. Wait until you're 50-something plus you're a grandpa to get that news, right? Obviously high functioning, but it is what it is. It's who I be. Yeah, I know, right? I know, right? It's actually, I was in therapy a while ago, and my therapist kind of did an armchair analysis for Asperger's. of how I function, as well as, it falls in line with my IQ, um, and all those other metrics that, I was tested when I was a kid. But back then, autism wasn't a thing. And Asperger's wasn't, I mean, it's always been there, but it wasn't nearly as pronounced as it's been as of late. And see, I've kind of, it wasn't a huge shock to me, more so to my wife. It helped her find some language for how I've always been, and even issues that we've had in the past that she just didn't quite understand. So, like I said, when it comes down to being understood, that's a huge one. That's a huge one. No. What wife thinks that, right? She's like, I knew something was up with him. But the funny thing is, I've always alluded to her that I was wired different. And it was interesting because I told her it bothered me a little bit that, me expressing certain needs and tendencies, that you needed a diagnosis to feel them necessary to kind of comply with. And it's been a lot of really productive talks, which is what I'm grateful for. She's like, I get that. I said, yeah. I said, I've always been able to articulate certain needs that now, because of the assessment, she has given more weight to, but that's a double-edged sword. I'm like, but I told you I needed this, just because I wasn't able to articulate why, didn't make it any less essential and necessary, and so, again, it's been some very productive conversations, man. I'm grateful. I know it's so subtle, y'all probably can't see it, but something is happening. Just got to really burn it in there. Let you lighten you up a little bit, saturate a little bit. Let's bring you into the blue spectrum. Yeah. You went down the setting your foot down route. No, I get it. I mean, there is some benefit to doing that. You know what I mean? That is not lost on me, bro. In the slightest. In the slightest. Make that kind of go a little bit there. I'm gonna put a little Kirby crackle in there too. Put a little bit of Kirby crackle up in there. I'll put this on the highlights. Have it kind of and she's like, hey, I knew something was going on with brother. No, I don't want them around the edge. I think I want them in the middle. Like that. Because I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to really bump up the blue on this right here. Oh, that's because it's hard light. That's why. Duh. Let me find a layer that I can put this on. High twos, maybe. Why is everything coming out white? I don't want everything coming out white. I want it blue. All right, what am I doing? I'm lost a little bit now. Oh, foreground color maybe. That might be a problem. There we go. And this highlights. X. Make that lighter. Take some of that blue out of there. Maybe too much. I do want that curve crackle to show just a little bit. I'm just so glad I don't have to do curve crackle by dot like this like I used to. That is trust me, a headache. Go down to the work layer. I don't know if it'd be that dark with that so close to the light source. Oh. Take some slices out of here. There you go. Let me try a brown. Let me see how this will read here. Yeah, well. Oh, it's because it's on a different. Oh, it's because it's got an adjustment layer. That's why. Go back to my brown layer. I got a layer just for brown. And it's, oh, X. There we go. Do a layer here. H, B. Now let me do some cut into it. It may take me a little longer than many, but I will get there. Like I say, I'm not a professional colorist. Actually, coloring I find very relaxing. This is like cathartic to me. There we go. Make sure you're not in there. Make sure the beveling's right. I see a mistake, so let me go ahead and add this because that should be getting some. That should be getting some light love. Highlights. XB. I should be like right down there, like that. DL. B, I need you lighter. X, there we go. There we go. Go up a little bit, go above the inks to H2. Go ahead and there we go. Something a little bit more now. There we go. There we go. I think it's about all the modeling I want to do with that. Now we have to do some color holds. I'm thinking about. Okay. Yeah, I think it's coming along, bro. Hide the palette, my sample palette. I always keep that on. I think it's coming. Now I got to make the hand really glow. So now we're gonna do some either paint over the inks, which is what I'm thinking about doing. Or just straight up color holds. Make a decision, right? All I want is this. So let me sample all the glowy parts. Wand, boom. Command D, nope. Command D. Flats. Go 30. Increase the tolerance. Boom. Okay. Now let me expand these by about 3 or 4 pixels. 3. Now let's expand again. Command Z. Select, modify, expand. Let's try 5. I want to make sure I get all that line art. Yep. I'm gonna go up to the line art. And trust, now what I'm doing, I have a lot of layers, is because I'm not a professional colorist. And though I have a lot of confidence working traditionally with my process and my procedure, I like the option of being able to undo mistakes, you know. And so because of that, I kind of go very layer heavy a lot of times when I color, so I can undo mistakes. I don't know if I'm going to like it or not. And then instead of deleting the darn layers, I just kind of keep them, which is crazy. But hey, so go up here, Command J, and I should just have the hand. So if I turn off the inks, you just see that hand right there. Boom. That's all you see. All right. And so I know, right? It's because I don't digitally color enough. The thing is, I don't digitally color enough, which I'm hoping to change this year. Yeah, I'm definitely going to change that this year. I don't digitally color enough, in full transparency. You know, I like to get everything down to like 3 or 4 layers, which I've seen some of my favorite colors. They work that way. I'm just not there yet. Yeah, I'm not there yet. But give me traditionally, man, I knock it out, man. It's like I know what colors, I know what layers, whether it's painting or markers. I know where everything's supposed to go in what order. I know the pre-plan, the pre-planning in my head for some reason is a lot more. It's a lot more intuitive. It's a lot more intuitive, and so yeah. All right, so now what we're gonna do here is wand, select on that layer, Command H, B. I'm gonna go with a harder brush. See if I can remember how to do this. I'm gonna go with a little darker blue. Okay, so what I'm gonna have to do I have a copy of the inks saved? No. Let me Command D that. See, I always like to have backups and redundancies. Command J, save my copy of my inks because I'm about to do something that's very destructive. Let me hide that, right? Wand, click, Command H, B. There we go. Might not need the other layer. There we go. And so now I'm coloring these black lines in to kind of make them appear to glow. Get rid of that hard black. And I might just end up deleting the copy anyway to really make them pop. At least I know I'm going to delete them from this hand. I know that. Because believe it or not, you may not be able to see it on your screen, but there's still some black peeking through. Because when you make a copy, it's not an exact copy for some reason in Photoshop. It's a little offset for some reason. Hey, what's up, Mr. Houghton? How are you? Thank you. Did you do the same way with your 3D stuff? I'm altering something. Yeah, man. Especially when you know it's gonna be destructive. When you know it's gonna be destructive, you got to make a copy of that bad fella, man. Just getting some prints ready for some upcoming shows, man. That's it, Mr. Houghton. How have you been? Oh man, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. It's so beautiful here in Chicago, man. I don't know if I want to be tethered to this table all day, but I got to get these prints done. So I'll give you guys a quick run through of the again, all of these are old pieces of art that I'm going to make into prints so that I don't go to the cons this year for the third year in a row and no new things. And it's funny, most of the new things I've been drawing I can't show, as well as they're traditional, so not necessarily print stuff. So I'm doing this Goku print. I'm going to do some edits on it. I'm thinking about taking this character. This character is a part of Black history. He was actually where and this is not hyperbole, this is not conspiracy, this is actually where Jack Kirby and Stan Lee got the inspiration for Black Panther. And he's public domain, and I'm thinking about bringing him into my studio's cast of projects, revamping him and kind of reclaiming him. This is another character that's in public domain that we're going to do at Honor Studios, my own studio. Even though this is Ka-Pow, these are all prints that I'm making. And so boom, and then I have I'm working on a Nightcrawler. I'm working on a Madeline Pryor, and I'm working on a Beast, as well as a Captain Marvel Photon. And I'm trying to have all these done in this week. Trying to have all these done this week. How many? I don't. I like to have 10 done. If I can just get my process back streamlined again, I'll be good. You want a solo Nightcrawler? Kurt Wagner. Yeah, I've been digging X-Men 97 along with the rest of the world. My son and I are going to be doing commentary on X-Men 97 and the last few episodes. You got some channels that are doing like every episode as they drop, and I'm like, no one's got time for that. As well as we're not an X-Men channel, even though I'm a huge X-Men fan historically. I'm a huge X-Men fan, just FYI. Always have been. That's the title that I really cut my teeth into. And I used to be a huge Avengers fan as a kid. For some reason, I always liked teen books. I guess because I felt like they gave me the most bang for my buck. For as far as creative material. No. And again, ukulele, I'm going to be doing them to a certain level of completion so that when I do stream, I won't look back and be like, oh man, I missed that part. I'm telling you, like when I go too far down the rabbit hole, and I'm trying to stream at the same time, my attention is so divided that I miss some major issues in the art. And I'm starting to see why a lot of artists will initially just get the art to a certain stage and then take it the rest of the way on live. They'll do a pre-draw. And I'm thinking about embracing that practice. Especially as Ka-Pow's channel grows. And Honor Studios. I love, especially when you know how we are, especially on Honor Studios, when we start talking, you already know what it is. You know what it is better than most. Yep. Yep. The grind is real, Mr. Harden. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And so if you guys are interested in Ka-Pow, the Comic Art Academy, anybody watching this on replay, seats are limited. You can join our waiting list. We actually have a waiting list now. for enrollment in our 24-25 year. If you're serious about pursuing the comic craft and want to bring your stories to life in a very real way and learn from industry professionals, check us out at teachyoutodraw.com. And we're also launching some new stuff for kids. The Ka-Pow Prep Academy is also going to start in September. We have a waiting list on that at teachyoutodraw.com. Mom and Dad have to fill out the information. Classes start at age 10. And we're starting our new lecture series. That's not on the website. It's going to be soon. That's a more cost-effective way to learn from our instructors and kind of get some quality, real-time education. It's not as intimate as our main course, but it's still something to we want to have something to fit every budget. Even though we're the most affordable school of our kind, we understand that everyone's feeling the crunch. You know, we're all feeling the crunch. I'm feeling the crunch. I just took a hit last week that I'm just now recovering from. So I get it. I totally get it. And we're not insensitive to that. We always say we're going to keep Ka-Pow affordable and attainable for those who really want to learn and are willing to invest in their creative future. If you're not, we're not the school for you. But we are the most affordable school of our kind you'll find anywhere. You'll find more affordable schools, but it won't be live instruction. You won't have homework, have it graded, get feedback, have end-of-term assessments, have a private community off the grid of Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We provide all that at Ka-Pow. Just check out our reviews if you're on the fence. Check out our reviews. It's in the description. If you just Google Ka-Pow School, will come up. So we got that. We got a little bit of glow going on with that. I want to really make it pop more. This blue electricity. Really want to make it pop more. I was thinking about just erasing all of this and just going with an airbrushed, with a hot center. The airbrush stroke with a hot center. I think I'm going to go with this. I'm going to do a soft glow on the outside on a vivid light. It's like I drew these lines, I might as well use them, right? Because I never planned on making this a print. Again, this was done in my squad car when I was in law enforcement over 12 years ago, man. Since it's 2024. Man, over 12 years ago. Man. I looked at the reference photo I took for this, because I actually took a reference photo of me doing this with my hand so I can get that hand right and the pose right. And this was a house that we lived in, man, a while ago. A while ago. Kids were still in high school. It was a while ago. So I guess it's now time to put his go-to-meeting clothes on and introduce him to the world. His Sunday go-to-meeting clothes, like the old folks used to say. Sunday go-to-meeting. Put his good threads on. I'll make that glow all the way up there. And I think I want all this to be hot. I want all this to kind of be hot and transition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I'll make all this kind of transition. Change that to an airbrush. And bring that, boom. Kind of, have it kind of, oh. I do want that though. Kind of have this transverse down. Really add this glow to this. Boom. Warm my brush a little bit so I get some control. Make all these kind of hot. You ain't gotta be perfect, just gotta look cool. All right, let's get this. Let's get this right here around his eye happening. Okay, high 2, which is in screen mode. Let's go ahead and get back to that airbrush. Pressure sensitivity. We'll make that pop a little bit. I think I want this in vivid light. Yeah, I want that in vivid light. That looks more electrical to me. Yeah, I like that vivid light. Oh yeah. That looks hot. That looks hot. Andy. Little points of contact, make them a little hotter. Let's go white. X. There we go. Yeah. Beat that. Okay, remember where electricity touches metal, you almost get this arcing hot spot. Where it grounds. That's why we have arc welders, where the current kind of touches down. I want this hand to look really like charged. I usually try to keep my brush either on pressure sensitivity, or I'll keep it around 30%, so it takes 3 passes to get to 100%, roughly, for all you mathematicians out there. Soften up this blue a little bit with some of this white. Let me do a little something here. L. Shift L. Boom. 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 Little eye effect there. Some of that back a little bit. make that longer. I'll make that a little longer. Let me go back. Wait for my computer to catch up a little bit. There we go. It's the little things. Actually, I can make them bigger. They look better close up. Let me make those bigger. So they read. A little too subtle. That's the beauty. That's the good thing about zooming in and out. Now let me zoom out so I can see how it looks. There we go. Kind of lose that eye a bit, but I don't care. Let me go ahead and bring some light to this one. What are you doing? Now you ask, why am I going to go ahead and make that eye that when all I'm going to do is add a glow to it? Is because I want the glow to react naturally with the eye that's underneath it. So he has a little glow coming from that eye, but not as much as the other one. All right. I think that's about all I want to do with this guy. No, that's not true. That is not true. I think I'm gonna add a little bit of noise too. Let's see if I can find a good noise brush. I want to have a little specular noise. Not quite Kirby Crackle, but a little bit more chaotic. A little bit more random. Let's try that. Let's try that. Let's try that. I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't even know where it's adding. I don't see anything. And what I see I don't like. That's what I want. It's a randomized brush too. Make you smaller so I can control you better. Is that a flow of 50% too? Do you do 100% flow? I don't know if I like that or not. I do think I like that around the hand. Let me see something. Of course, we're going to add another layer. See if we can make it work. That adds a little bit. That adds a little something, doesn't it? Some like charged ozone particles. I don't hate that. I don't like how uncontrollable it is. That I don't like. And the size doesn't really seem to control its spatter effect. That's on that because that is beneath. I want this on top. A little layer manipulation. That's why I'm not seeing it. Okay. Mm-hmm. I kind of like that. I don't hate that. I think it's like one of, what does it say, Bob Ross? One of those happy little accidents? It's a very randomized brush. But I kind of like it. It feels like charged ozone. It feels more powerful. It's like a more erratic Kirby crackle, which I'm kind of digging. Let me play with the blend modes. Now this is the playing part. See what you come up with. Lighten screen, color dodge. The color dodge looks nice because it gives me some blue variations. Linear dodge. I think that vivid light is yet it again. Yeah, I think that the vivid light is it yet again. Let me see if I can control it up here. I don't hate this, y'all. I don't hate that. Let's just see how it comes together. Yeah, yeah. It's my first time using that brush. All right, so let's add the smoke. Let's add background light. And I think he's done. He's about as done as I'm gonna get him. My John Hancock there in the corner. Let's go and make that pop a little bit. Do Mama Gail proud. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm good with him. I don't want to overdo it. Yeah, I think I'm done with him. Let me see something. Command J, boom. Command T, bring that down a little bit lower. Shift to add a little bit of more randomness. Yeah. Control U. Let's see if we can add some color to this bad fella. I want to add some color to you. Come on. There we go. Let's add some, saturate you a little bit. Cool you down just a little bit so you're not bleach white. There we go. Yep. I'm good with that. Who knows how I may feel tomorrow. So this is the point where I walk away for a day or two, and then I come back to see how I feel about it. Right? But as it stands right now, I would not be mad with this going to print. So we're going to save it. Yeah, I would not hate him going to print. I'd be like, no. But who knows how I may feel tomorrow. This is also one of the things I encourage our students at Ka-Pow to do, is to kind of walk away, right? Give it a day or so. What I call it is table candy. Keep some table candy always available. And when you have table candy, all that means is you're working on multiple projects at the same time, so you can always come back with a fresh set of eyes. And because I have several projects working at the same time, I'm going to come back to him to see how I feel about him tomorrow. I already see something that I missed that I didn't want to miss. That darn lightning bolt. It looks flat. And so I'm going to add some stuff around it on that layer. Some of these layers, I don't even think they there we go. Right here above there we go, above the line art layer. And I'm going to just add some noise around here. Not too much. Might add some beveling around that as well. Add some beveling around that as well. Yes, exactly. Table candy keeps you coming back. So you caught that immediately. You are too much in my head, ukulele. You are way too much in my head. That's exactly why I call it cable, because it keeps you coming back. You're the first person who's ever caught that. No one's even asked why I call it table candy. You actually just went straight there for the solution. It's because table candy keeps you coming back. That is precisely why I call it table candy. I love that. That is hilarious. That's hilarious. Somebody get to me. My teacher draws table candy. Yes, it keeps you coming back. Yes. So I always keep table candy around. Yeah, and I'll come back to it, and I'll start working on something else. Later on today, I think I'm going to knock out this Goku one. Now, some of these are images, all of these are images that I lost on my iPad last year, all of these. And for some reason, I was able to reclaim them because I had saved them in some form in a backup, because these were all done in Procreate. And so I'm making all of these prints now. I'm going to add some effects to Goku. I'm pretty much done with Lion Man. Pretty much done with Butterfly. I got to create her title, because again, we're going to reintroduce her in Honor Studios. Many other studios have tried to redo Lion Man as well as Butterfly. Butterfly is actually the first black female superhero in comics. And Lion Man is erroneously called the first black superhero. He is not, but he is the character from all Negro comics that gave birth to Black Panther. And if you read his story, or you know where he came from, Jack Kirby and Stan Lee were around that time. They would have seen these comics, and the similarities between this guy and the history of the Black Panther are, again, what did Picasso say? Good artists create, great artists steal. And so they definitely, this is Black Panther's grandfather. Not conjecture. That's a real thing. And this is an original Honor Studios. I'm going to redo the background and make this into a print. I've got buttons and stickers and stuff. But Honor Studios presenting at shows is actually kind of on the shelf right now, because I really do have to grow the audience. And a couple of people have bailed on Patreon as well as bailed on the team. Some people that used to be with us on Twitch, they kind of took flight. And so I had to find help, and I got some people. I know Fitz is about to graduate with his master's, and so he's ready to jump back on board. But until all the pieces are in place, all I'm doing is drawing for Honor Studios. Yeah, man. All I'm doing is drawing for Honor Studios. And so we're about to start pushing the Patreon. I'm going to be dropping the videos, so just stay tuned for those on Honor Studios as far as the origin of Honor Studios, where we came from, and what got us to this point. But this is all Ka-Pow, man. And so if you'd like to learn from me, again, Ka-Pow is a school run by a professional artist and animator, me, and I employ nothing but professional artists that are actually professional teachers as well. If you guys don't know why that's important, it's because oftentimes many creatives, though they can do the thing, they don't know how to communicate the thing that they do. And everyone that, again, we got examples of it with Magic Johnson when he tried coaching, and Michael Jordan with his, because you're good in one category doesn't make you good in, because you're great in one category doesn't even make you good or competent in another. And so at Ka-Pow, we actually put our instructors through a process where they actually have to kind of audition to make sure they can communicate what they do as well as do what they do, because there's somebody on the receiving end that we have to make sure that they're getting it. And so if you'd like to learn from me and my team, check us out at teacheryoudraw.com, join our waiting list. You can go there and hit and leave out your information. We'll put you on the waiting list when seats become available. We're only open up for 10 seats every year thus far until we grow, because we believe in delivering quality education. And I'll be dropping a whole bunch of new stuff here on the YouTube. If you guys are watching on YouTube, if you're not watching on YouTube, you want to check that out with all the interviews of my industry friends that are there, as well as a new series that we're calling Class Pass, where I give you little bite-sized chunks of actual classes that are taught at Ka-Pow that are recorded. They're going to be free on YouTube, and not the entire class, just 10, 15-minute segments. That's it. If you want the full Monty, you gotta apply. You gotta apply and join the waiting list. And so, with that being said, this has been an artistic afternoon, and I might pop in tomorrow if I don't have any Generation Geek. Check us out, me and my son, at Generation Geek on YouTube. Generation Geek, where we talk all things geek, geek culture, and thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I have the full process video. That'll be uploaded most likely to our Patreon at Ka-Pow. And check us out everywhere at Ka-Pow School. Listen, you guys, remember, life is short, so live, love, and laugh as if it's your last day on earth, knowing that when all is said and done, all that will ever be remembered about you is the life you've lived, the lives you've touched, and the stories you've created. So, with that being said, what are you waiting for? Talk to you later. Solo out.